Thursday NHL picks, sides, totals, props, team totals, whatever it is, we are finding you guys the best bets available in the NHL for Thursday night. Andrew McInnis here with the Pre-Scout live every single weeknight, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And I've got Perlo joining me here tonight to break things down and go over some of the games. And guys, we've got Sidney Crosby taking on Alexander Ovechkin after Ovechkin just reached the 900 goal mark. So looking forward to going over a ton of games. And I'll tell you what, so far so good for our slate on Wednesday night, as we did cash the Capitals over 3.5, and we did find a plus 122. We talked about it on the show last night. We mentioned to you guys it was going to be a play, and we end up cashing that ticket on the Capitals team total. You had a feeling when this Capitals team was going to snap out of their funk, they were going to snap out of it in a big way. And, well, they put up a really good spot here. 5 goals so far in that game for them against the Blues as they get out of a rut that they were in. We'll see if they can do it again. But we'll talk about that and more with Perlo here soon. So thanks so much for being here with me, guys. 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to break things down and go over some of these games. Not a massive slate in the NHL on Thursday, but a slate that is worth looking at. All right, guys, let's bring him in. He's here with us. How are you, brother?
Good, man. Good. Excellent. You're doing well,
thanks for being here.
You got that team total over for Washington. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah, you know, it's nice to be able to guess when a team is going to get off a rut. You know, nice to be able to be that you know, that guy that can pick the spot, because I'll tell you what, there's been times this season where whether it's the Wild or the Pittsburgh Penguins or whatever, the Rangers, I've been going against the grain too much this season, and I feel like I've had a good season that it went downhill. I've been going a little bit too contrarian. So this one was, I guess it was kind of both teams that weren't that good so far this season. So one of them had to win, and I'm happy it was the Capitals. How's your Wednesday night going?
The Toronto game's great. I had Toronto team total over. I had both teams team total over and the over. So great. That one's going really well. That game, actually, I was on the other side, and was I wrong about St. Louis on that one. But I had Beauvillier over 1.5 shots for my biggest bet on that game. So that's a good thing about having being kind of a high volume guy like me and being really good at shot props and stuff, is I can lose a game on the sides and stuff, but still be okay on the game as far as being green. So far it's a green day. It's going good.
Let's go. And you do well with those player props. So feel free to throw any names out there for the Thursday slate. Before we get started there, I want to make sure your Twitter handle can be mentioned on the screen before we get back. So just before we get started, let people know where they can find you on X and any shows that you do.
Perlo's NHL POW on X. I just started a new project with that's called Puck in Deep with R&J Media. It's just brand spanking new, but we're having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. If I were to do a show about hockey, it's not about betting. It's just about hockey. I wanted to do a show that I would watch if it was me, if I was going to watch something, and this is it. So if you like in deep hockey talk, you'll like that Puck in Deep. Of course, I'm also on the Ice Guys as well. I do that. I did that today, and I do that every once in a while, which you're very familiar with, and I know you from.
For sure. So
that's where you'll find me. But if you go to Perlo's NHL POW, you'll find all my props. You can become a community member there. It's free right now, so go check it out.
Awesome. All right, let's dive into the Thursday slate. We'll bring up Odds Logic here. Take a look at the opening numbers, of course, on the screen right now. You guys can see we got some numbers flashing up from the games currently going on. Odds Logic, of course, we all believe the best odds screen in the game. You guys can use that promo code oddslogic.com/AM to get a free 7 days. But let's go to tomorrow. Let's look ahead to Thursday. And as I was saying to you on X, not the biggest slate by any means on Thursday, but still a pretty good size slate. We'll go over some of the starting goalies and some of the opening numbers. Not much, obviously, so far in the St. Louis and Buffalo game. Scrolling over, we know FanDuel and DraftKings, they're always going to hang some numbers for us, but minus 140 at FanDuel, minus 130 at DraftKings, and Caesars for Buffalo. Obviously second half of back-to-back for one team. You said you like St. Louis tonight. Would you go look to them to bounce back, or how much do you care about that second half of back-to-back? It's kind of interesting that DraftKings has that minus 130 Buffalo at home, and yet it's second half of back-to-back for the Blues. It kind of makes you wonder, I mean, if it wasn't a second half of back-to-back, what's the number in this game right now?
I don't know. That's a funny game. St. Louis, you just can't trust them. You can't really trust Buffalo either. However, with St. Louis having Hofer in net, I hate to do it. I might grit my teeth, and I'm going to look at Buffalo team total over. I think the St. Louis team is just in a bad way. They might try to play a more defensive game, but Hofer's been so bad that I can't do anything with them. I think I had him for Edmonton. You're talking about catching a knife. I had him for Edmonton, and that's why I went back on him here. I like to take a team after a long losing streak, but when they win after a long losing streak, but they just absolutely look terrible. I don't trust Buffalo all that much, but I think they can probably get 3. I'll go to BetMGM and see if I can grab the 3. What are we looking at, a 6 here? That might not even do it. But minus 130 for Buffalo, I mean, can you take Buffalo as a favorite right now in any situation?
Well, that's kind of the funny thing is that I like to, and I know you're similar to me. You kind of have to take what the books are trying to tell you as well. And it's like, okay, how many times all season are the Buffalo Sabres going to be a favorite?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, there's something that we don't know here. No, not something we don't know, but that just goes to show how really bad of a spot it is probably for the St. Louis Blues team.
Right.
I've been saying that, a lot of times, like, people use save percentage. You can use goals saved above expected or above, this analytical stuff. But I don't think the Blues goalies are playing that bad. I think the defense has just been really bad. I think their defense overall has been letting the goalies down. Nothing makes me laugh more than people will say a goalie on a really great team is performing so well, and a goalie on a really bad team is performing so bad. It's like, no shit, the team sucks. It's why the team, and I get it. One thing can lead to another, but let's not kid ourselves. Darcy Kemper won the Stanley Cup with the Avalanche. All right. Like, imagine if they had like a serviceable, like, clear cut number one. No offense to Darcy Kemper, but I don't think he was top. What was he? I doubt he was even top 10 goalie in the league that season. Right.
That's right. Good thing you agree with me. A lot of people give me heck about talking about how Kemper won a cup. And I said that was like one of the worst goaltenders to ever win a cup. I think you'd have to go back to like Niemi when he won a cup, somebody like that. But the more I think about it here, I've been burnt with Buffalo so many times that I just don't know what to do. But I'm going to take the team total over. St. Louis, actually, I had St. Louis to miss the playoffs last year. They got that coach bump. And that's the reason why they made it. And this year, I said that I took St. Louis under their points this month or last month, and of course I got it. And the reason why is when a team gets a coach bump like that, it's really hard to recreate it when they come back. And it just seems like now, once that coach bump is gone, that energy is gone. St. Louis, like you said, really, if you look at their defense, it's just not a very good team, And I would lean Buffalo here. I just don't like betting on Buffalo. Buffalo is just, they always seem to find a way to lose or do something. So just give me the
Buffalo things.
Give me the team total over 3.5, whatever we can get on that. And I think Buffalo can score on Hofer on that with St. Louis all bummed out right now. Yeah, you could say, okay, they're going to come back and play hard here because they lost against Washington, but you could say that all year long for St. Louis, and it hasn't happened. So I'll just take the and Luukkonen's going to be in net for Buffalo too. For Buffalo too, and he's looked pretty good since he's come back. So I'll take the over 3. What are you taking on that one? What do you think about that?
I've gotten a lot more into the analytical stuff of just at least using it to build a case. Like I'm a watcher. I'm like you. I watch all the games.
I'm an analytics guy too. Yeah,
I'm glued to the TV. Like I watch games, right? But I have been taking more a look at this stuff. And I find that you have to use it to build your case. You can't use it to make the case, like to start it, just almost to help you kind of add those ingredients to the cake, I guess. But St. Louis, number 6 in expected goals on the season, right? It comes to a point where it doesn't matter what you are. They just can't score. Like the New York Rangers, they're number 3. Yeah. And so it comes to a point where like the analytics can sometimes throw you off. It almost has to be something that helps you back up an opinion you already have. It can't create an opinion for you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the reasons for me why when I look at the St. Louis Blues team, it almost makes matters worse. Because if their expected goals are that high, that just means that they're not converting on any of their chances. It's like Calgary. Like Calgary had such a low shooting percentage, you would have thought things would turn around for them, but they just couldn't find their offense. So, you know, with the second half of back-to-back, they kind of got embarrassed by the Washington Capitals. You know, I like your team total look 100%. You know, I'm a team totals guy. I wouldn't talk anybody off full game over 6.5. Like, I think you do see some 5.5s and 6s with the Blues. Like you don't often see 6.5 with am I wrong here? I don't think you see too many 6.5 with Blues games. So I'm going to let that number indicate to me that I think this will be a more higher scoring game. And, you know, again, I am saying that this team hasn't been able to score too many goals, but, you know, they got outplayed bad in the first period by the Washington Capitals. Second period wasn't much better. And sometimes players will say they almost don't want to sit and stew about it. They want to get back out there the next day. So Buffalo is going to get a pissed off St. Louis team. That's for sure. So we'll see what happens. But I do think we see some action in that game. Wouldn't be surprised. And one thing of note, and I'm not saying we should always think like this, but that Mammoth and Sabres game, if you look at that game and if you watched it, which I was able to watch some of that game deserved to have a lot more goals. That finished 2-1 in overtime. Yeah. Mammoth and if you check the score of that game, you're like, wow, what a boring game. That was the farthest thing from a boring game. So we know what happens with Buffalo. They can't have two good defensive games in a row. They're not really known for back-to-back low-scoring games. That's for sure. So Ottawa and Boston, we do have numbers for this one. Luckily, we do have openers for this one. So we'll take a look. We'll get rid of this NBA scores here they're showing us. Okay, Ottawa and Boston here. Taking a look at the numbers. Minus 130-ish opener. And we're seeing some spots are getting hit on the Ottawa side. For the most part, 135 seems to be the consistent number across the board. DraftKings, Circa at Heritage, Bet Online here. Overall, I'll tell you what, I saw there was a injury. I think, what was it? Jake Sanderson left practice today. That's not very good for them. We all know. But this team overall, it hasn't even been their offense that's bothered me whatsoever. It's been the Ottawa Senators' defensive issues. On the road at TD Garden, minus 130 favorites. What do you think here? I mean, this Boston Bruins team, they show flashes, but we all know what they are right now. They're a team they're not really the bottom of the barrel, but they're not really close to the top. It's me. He's in here. We got a lot of guys that love betting on the over shots on goal for Pasta, doing very well at home. But what do you think here? Boston or Ottawa, an Atlantic Division matchup?
Well, Ottawa's had a lot of time off here too, and Boston's been playing a lot of games. But if you look at both teams are just straight over teams right now. And if Allmark is going to be in net, he's been really shaky. I think Ottawa comes out flying here. And both teams are also straight over first period teams. So I like the over first period and the over. And I probably lean Ottawa here. I just think they've had time to stew after their last game. And if Sanderson's not going to be in, then even more, I like the over for the game. I nailed it at a 6 right away. So I'm going to take the over. It's just Boston is playing over games consistently, and so is Ottawa. So I'll take the over, and I lean Ottawa here. I just think that they have better legs than Boston does, and they got to get the ball. They got to get going. So I just feels like a kill spot for Ottawa. Like Boston has been going up against a lot of kind of taking teams by surprise, playing like teams like the Islanders, and they got a lot of heart and they're going to play hard. But Ottawa's going to play hard in this game. This is not a game where they're looking ahead to anybody or anything like that. This feels like a kill spot for Ottawa to me. How about you?
I like the way you're saying that. You're oozing confidence with that one. It kind of reminds me of the Capitals spot today. It really does. Like one of the reasons why I like the Capitals was they haven't played since Saturday. They had the rest, and it's funny because some people will tell you that rest doesn't matter this early in the season. I think it does, especially when you're in a little bit of a rut. So great points by you, and I got to correct myself because apparently this is a real quote from TSN 1200. Jake Sanderson now back on the ice after getting the feeling back in his right leg. What does that mean? Getting the feeling back in his right leg? Okay, so he lost.
Deep bruise.
Yeah, that's tough. But apparently he was back on the ice. But I agree with you. I mean, look at the Bruins here. They've really only been able to put up goals on mediocre teams a little bit. The only thing that worries me is that I am a bit of a believer in the whole rapid revenge type of stuff. 7-2 the last time they played. Part of me kind of thinks the under could be play here because I think Ottawa with that rest is going to really kind of go towards defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point as well. It's also a division rivalry, so if Boston's playing as tough as they have been, then the thing is, though, is I believe right now Ottawa is looking to get their energy up as much as they possibly can. It just doesn't feel like a game to me that they're going to come out. What are you focusing on in these days off? Are you focusing coming in and shutting down this Boston team who doesn't have a number one center right now? At the very least, maybe I could lean that way in after the first period. Maybe what we're talking about here is Ottawa first period. Ottawa first period puck line might be the way to go here.
Let them get off to a real hot start. They had that rest. They've been sitting with it. Maybe that's a real good call. And then we don't have to worry about the rest of the game. Ottawa and get to play a good road first period. And we don't have to worry about that rapid revenge stuff. We just worry about the first period overall. I kind of like that.
Yeah. I don't think Ottawa's going to start off slow. Now, if they were going to focus on defense, like you said, maybe they would start off slow. But I just don't see it here. It's just too much energy in that building. Get the legs going. They want to get the legs going right away. I don't see them starting out slow after being off for this amount of time. It's just not usually the right way to go. So give me the first period puck line for Ottawa. I think we just talked ourselves into a bet.
I like it. And that's the best. When you're on the show, you're talking yourself into it. You're looking at the angles. And It's Me says, come on, Boston just beat the Hurricanes, have beat Colorado at plus 115. Doesn't sound bad.
No, you're right.
It makes sense. But I also think that, you look at some of these games that they've looked good in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they got the Avalanche in a pretty good travel spot in that one. The Hurricanes actually weren't playing the best hockey at the time that they came to town, I don't think.
And they had two of their defensemen had no defense going for them at the time at all.
And then the other three games, Buffalo Sabres and the New York Islanders twice. And I don't know about you, but I'm still not the biggest New York Islanders guy.
No.
So
no
offense to the Islanders, but so I mean we'll find out. But I again, I'm not the guy that's always taking the rapid revenge spot. And I think the way I look at it here is the rest supersedes the rapid revenge. Like I'm a huge rest advantage guy in the NHL, especially for some of these young guys. And it's not like it was rest after a bunch of good games. They lost 7-3 to the Blackhawks. Who loses 7-3 to the Blackhawks? And then you beat the Flames in a shootout and you lose to Montreal. Montreal's a rival. So it looks like we've talked ourselves into something to do with the Senators
Like
there.
first period, yeah,
and
maybe
we'll see.
the over first period, something like that. I'd also expect because Boston is really thin up the middle, I'd look for some Stützle props over shots and stuff like that. Pinto as well, even better because they're
he's been great.
Ottawa's on the road, so they're going to have a better matchup for the second line. I like Pinto quite a bit there as well for shots.
Pinto's been fantastic. If people aren't watching Ottawa games, Shane Pinto has been great. He's a good shots guy. Let's be honest. He kind of reminds me of Porter Jr. in the NBA. I don't know if you're a basketball guy, but he's not much of an assist guy. We'll put it that way. No. We're going to have a Pinto guy. He's shooting the puck when he gets it, that's for sure. Drew says, smash that like button. Y'all appreciate it. I appreciate Perlo for hopping on with me. We got a lot of you guys in here, and we really appreciate it. All of you guys that are watching afterwards, though, make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and comment below. Let me know what you are betting on the Thursday slate. I always love sharing people's goal-scoring bets on. So if you guys want to comment below a goal-scoring prop that you like, and we'll make sure to shout you out in the next video. So comment a goal scorer that you like for Thursday night slate, and we'll definitely show you some love in the next video. Hopefully you guys can find a winner. All right, before we get to the big one we wanted to mention, that's going to be in one of the headlines of this video, we have to go through a couple more games. Montreal, New Jersey, and Minnesota and Carolina here. Montreal, look, it's the Dobis show. I've been defending Montembeault on social media like it's my day job because I just hate how reactionary the fan base is. But when it comes down to it here, Perlo, we know how it is. Dobis is 6-0 to start the season. He had a fantastic season last year. He's well-rested, ready to go. They're playing an Eastern Conference opponent. I think you had to start him here. They opened up minus 170, which is kind of crazy. It's settled down at minus 155. This Jersey team has been solid, but Montreal, they didn't lose a point. They stole a point from the way I look at it in their last game. You know, even though they were down 3-0 and then they came back and it was 4-3, you don't want to end up losing that game. But at the end of the day, they also were down 3-0, and they probably didn't deserve to win that game. All the metrics will tell you, and St. Louis even said to the media afterwards, the better team won that game in the shootout, of course. So the Habs, at least, they haven't had many regulation losses, that's for sure. But these two games, Montreal, Jersey, Minnesota, Carolina, any thoughts for you overall?
Well, with this Jersey game, I've been saying that Montreal is likely going to struggle somewhere down the road here a little bit. People know they're coming now. They're going to be getting the best number one goaltenders. They're not surprising anybody. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that Philly game really took me for a loop. I'll tell you, they weren't really they were a little bit fat in that game. Honestly, in this game, I'm really looking towards an under. Dobis is playing so well. New Jersey's coming back from a Western road trip. New Jersey is going to be really going to be focusing on defense in this game. And Montreal, I think, is going to have a difficult time if they do that. If they play this properly, New Jersey's going to want to play this into a 2-1, 3-1 game, something like that if they can. Now, if Montreal gets up early, then all bets are off. This is a really good live betting game, but I have a feeling that this is going to be an under. One thing I do really like a lot in this game is no goals in the first 10 minutes. New Jersey Devils do that, start slow all the time. They focus on defense right away. It's Sheldon Keefe's MO. And I think Montreal being on the road, they're going to be focusing on they like to feel their opponent out, and I think that is my favorite play in this game. Is no goals in the first 10 minutes, and then after that, I like the under. I'm leaning to the under in this game. What about you?
I like that. No goals first time, and you know what? Montreal, based on the game they just had, right? Where they, collapse. What was it? A 5-on-3, a high slot deflection.
Right. They're going to be
that's a good way of going about it.
Too.
Yeah. Defense. I mean, the coach definitely, I think Marty St. Louis, the good thing about Marty St. Louis and this Montreal Canadiens team, and I'm biased here, but I try my best not to be, but this Canadiens team, for once, they don't have to worry about offense anymore. Like, the offense is there. So now it's just about defensive consistency. That PP1 unit is fantastic. I hate when the fans are right, but I'll tell you what, Demidov had to be moved to that first power play unit. I don't know how it took him so long to get there. Well, not that long, but a couple weeks. But he's been fantastic there. So I think this game, the total will be dependent on the power plays. Like, if this game ends up being rough, both power plays are lethal for these teams, especially right now, the top goal scorers they have in their lineups. But New Jersey, 6-1 their last 7 games against the Montreal Canadiens. I'm not usually someone that buys into that stuff, but sometimes a certain team has their number. 4-0, 4-3, 5-3, 4-3, 5-2, 3-1, 5-1. This team does well against the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah. But to your point, I like the under here as well. You look at the odds logic screen. If we kind of make our way down the list here on the page, we can find some 6.5s, and if you can give me a 6.5 at some books, they are going to be juiced a little bit, but I think I would look towards the under 6.5 in this one. I think a lot of it is probably if this game goes over, I think a lot of it's probably due to power plays. And, people are saying, hey, well, wait till Dobich finally has a bad game. Well, we haven't really seen it quite yet. And maybe he's going to keep playing solid. So time will tell. But, Montreal's first place in the Atlantic Division. Yeah. The opener in this one was -170 for New Jersey. That says something to me. The number is -155 now. But, I'm not stranger to going against the opening lines, but I also like to respect what they say. And if they think that New Jersey deserves to be -170, that tells me all that I need to know. But to your point, this could be a good live betting game. And if it does start off slow, maybe we do hit the in-game over. But I'm going to go with the under in this one. This team's going to be pissed off, though, because they got a point in this game. But at the end of the day, they also lost out on an opportunity to have 2 points as well.
Here's the other thing about this game that I'm leaning New Jersey to. Would you agree with me that if it is an under, you're more inclined to think New Jersey is going to win the game? That's there. It's Montreal. Really, I still don't see them as a strong shutdown team, especially on the road, especially without Goulet there. It's not. I don't see it. So I really do like New Jersey, but there's another thing about this game is this is a one on the road and back home again too. And I really don't like taking teams that are in those spots. It's an annoying spot. You're going from Montreal, you're flying from Montreal to New Jersey, playing one, and then going home to play Utah. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm really going to be looking at New Jersey at a better price, maybe in regulation even tomorrow, and like I said, the under.
I do think that this is the first time in years that I've really been able to say this, that New Jersey as well. Like, and you're saying that, and let me call me out if I'm being biased here, but you said yourself that teams are going to expect the Montreal Canadiens, right? So I do think that, and I'm right there with you. I think that it benefits the Devils for this game to remain low scoring. The offense has gotten better for the Habs.
Yeah.
I don't think teams want to go first to 5 goals against the Habs anymore, which you told them before that they would have loved to do that against the Habs, but not really as much anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So give me New Jersey. It probably won't have much on that. The under, and the bigger bet will be no goals in the first 10. I think New Jersey is going to want to establish their D right away. And not to mention coming off the plane from Montreal in that spot, I think they're going to have a difficult time scoring too. So
it is kind of interesting too, because like you said, I mean, well, one thing as well, somebody was mentioning on a podcast that I watched for the Habs, were saying that first game back after a road trip, because it was the Western Canadian road trip the Habs played, if it wasn't a division rival, maybe that would have been the flat spot, but it was against the Sens. So maybe the game they played against Philly was their flat spot. But I'll tell you what, no matter what happens Thursday night, I think the Habs show up against Utah. And
I do
Utah,
too.
I think they will.
That's going to be a kill spot for Montreal. New Jersey just came back from a road trip, but they've been home for a while. So they've been preparing for this game as well. How did they do on that road trip? Actually, I forgot to ask that. I forgot to look at that. How did New Jersey do on that? You're muted.
Sorry, this is what happens when you get a cold and you got the horrible cough that you don't want to get on the screen or on the microphone. I'm the kind of person that says they never get sick, and then when I get sick, I absolutely hate it. So they ended on a bad note. They lost 4-1 against the Ducks.
Right.
But then they beat the Kings 4-1. It was kind of a win one, lose one type of road trip.
Yeah.
And it was only a short road trip. It was if it was a 4-game road trip. So,
and the other thing that has been
actually, they went 1-3. They went 1-3.
So it was a bad road trip. And oh, by the way, I could go into. I'm not going to go into this too much. I wouldn't be a capper if it wasn't for this man. By the way, and I learned a lot from him. And coming off a bad road trip deal. So you got a lot of things going for New Jersey here. And I just think they're a wagon this year. I think they're going to be a very, very good team. Just playing out. They're just as good as Montreal as far as I'm concerned. It's just a better spot for New Jersey.
Their forwards play well defensively. So I will go with the mindset.
And forwards too, yeah.
They gave up 4 to the Ducks, 5 to the Sharks, 8 to the Avalanche. I feel like that helps our under situation out a lot more as well. All right, so I teased it with the intro and some of the headlines I had for the promotion for the show. Maybe this is the little kid in me that just grew up, and yes, I'm kind of aging myself as a younger person here saying this, but my rivalry that I watched as a kid was always Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. And when you look at this matchup, we're now seeing around -122, -120 road favorites in a second half of a back-to-back for the Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
Now, this Pittsburgh Penguins team got off to a wicked hot start. And I lost going against them. I finally hopped on them. But you got to ask, okay, when is this fun going to end for the Pittsburgh Penguins? And I'll tell you what, Perlo, I think that I was on the Capitals tonight on Wednesday night, and I want to go right back to them again on Thursday. There's some spots where a back-to-back will keep you off a team. You don't like the goalie they're going to trot out. You don't like the situation for them. But for a lot of the same reasons I like them against St. Louis, a lot of those reasons apply for me to why I like them against Pittsburgh on Thursday night. You lose against the Dallas Stars 1-0. You give up 7 goals against the Ottawa Senators. You have a couple bad games in a row. Then you don't play a game for a handful of days. Then you get a big win, 5 goals. I just think that the depth of this team right now is too much to handle, I think, potentially for this Pittsburgh team that might see their offense dry up. They looked good against Toronto, I'm not going to lie. They looked good in their past couple games, but I think this Washington Capitals team might be, over the last few years, one of the most underrated teams in the NHL. Nobody gives them credit. This, to me, is a spot that I want the Capitals back-to-back nights. To me, they haven't been playing well. They get out of that rut. Let's do it back-to-back nights. What do you think?
I'm all over it with you, dude. I think this is a great Washington Capitals spot. Carberry, after the last game, said we got to find our identity, which is a funny thing to say. And then they come out and they play against St. Louis. They shut down St. Louis. I think they're going to go in this game, do much the same. The thing is Lindgren is in net, and they don't seem to play well in front of Lindgren. It's not as much as Lindgren doesn't play well. They don't really play well in front of Lindgren. So I kind of lean to the over in this game. I think they're going to want to keep their mojo going. But yeah, I was as soon as Pittsburgh lost and I had them to lose to Winnipeg in that game, I said I was going to go against them until they won again. And now they're coming back home off a road trip. Washington's just got their mojo going. I like Washington here today, especially at this price. You're getting a nice short price. And I'll probably look at maybe a team total overall. Jari's injured as well, so they're going to have to go to Sheloff's again here after he got torn apart. And that guy's young. He's a type of goaltender that when he's on a roll, it's good. But when you get shelled like that, you really don't want to go back to him again. It's not a good spot to go back to him. So,
hot and cold kind of guy. Hot and cold kind of guy, I'd say.
It's a kind of guy that if you're playing well, he's playing well. If you're not playing well, he's not going to save you. He's not at that point in his career yet where he's going to do that sort of thing. So yeah, give me Washington here for sure. Probably look at a team total over or something like that. But I do like over for the game. I looked at it right away. I got it for 6. I think this will be back and forth. I don't think as much as Washington wants to go back to shutting teams down, with Lindgren, until I see them do that with Lindgren in net, I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be a very offensive game. Pittsburgh will probably get a couple on Lindgren and they'll get the rest.
Yeah, that's kind of the unfortunate part right now for this Capitals team. They got 2 different types of goalies they're dealing with. Logan Thompson has a phenomenal goals against average. What was the final score of that game tonight? I know they gave up 1 goal. Did they give up any more than that?
I think it was
6-1. So Logan Thompson, I mean, first and foremost, he's going to make Team Canada, I would say. He'll be the 2nd or 3rd goalie, that's for sure. But Washington, number 4 ranked on the season, updated after this game, 5-on-5, number 4 ranked, expected goals for.
Yeah.
When I talk about exciting NHL teams and exciting offensive teams, you don't really hear that. And Pittsburgh, believe it or not, they're number 2. But guess what? I trust one team's defense more than the other. So I'm happy we're on the same page with that one.
Well, look at Pittsburgh's defense. You got that Shea kid. They're either really young and like Witherspoon, or they're really old. And they've been playing a heck of a lot of hockey. So Carlson's getting up there, Letang is getting up there, and then otherwise it's a lot of young players that aren't used to playing these kind of minutes. So definitely liking Washington there in the over.
I was listening to a podcast with Pierre McGuire the other day, and he was talking about how despite the success this Penguins team is having, they're going to have to make some decisions about some of these defensemen, these defensive players, and some of the younger guys, because once the season moves on, you start to get exposed a lot more. BetOnline has it as a pick we're seeing right now. So, guys, if you want the Capitals, look towards a pick. Curious to see. I think people are going to want to fade Lindgren. And I'll tell you what, I always say this. I wish I got on the Penguins during their streak when they were playing well. Unfortunately, I was too busy trying to catch a falling knife and fade them. Or I guess it was the opposite. But now I feel like, as to your point about what happened in Winnipeg and then what happened in Toronto, now it's starting to go the other way, right? Yeah. So even though it's a back-to-back for Washington, we'll take a look at them. Anaheim, Dallas, I don't really have much. I'll tell you what, like this Anaheim team, I regretfully haven't been on them as much. And I told you about kind of reading the market here. This kind of tells me all I have to know. I mean, if Anaheim's been playing as well as they've been playing and Dallas is still going to open up -180 at Pinnacle, that tells us something here, Perlo.
Yeah, I want to take Anaheim here. But it kind of feels like the spot where they lose. It does kind of feel that way. They big game over Florida, the Stanley Cup champions. Now you're going into a Dallas team that's starting to get it back together again. They just beat Edmonton. They're starting to roll a little bit. This feels like the game that they could lose. I don't like it at -180, but I do think that Anaheim's going to come out strong here and confident. So Dallas is going to have to probably the barrage is probably going to start a little early here for Anaheim, and they're going to have to be able to control that. Is DeSmith in? Yeah, it shouldn't be DeSmith now, right? It should be back to Ottinger.
No, I think it's only a 1 game absence for Ottinger.
Right.
So
Otti just had a baby.
Yeah.
And this feels like a Dallas spot to me. I just don't know how to bet it. I just don't know.
The fatherly game. This might be kind of my bold pick of the night, but I guess it's not. I guess it's not that bold because it's not going to be that big of a number. But yeah, team total under. Because everybody always says, "Oh, you only bet team total overs." I do team total unders all the time.
I do team total unders. I wish I did it for St. Louis too.
It happens to all of us.
I'm with you on that. I think the team total under is a good pick because Gullickson has been pounding defense into this team. That's the type of coach he is, and that I believe is the reason why Dallas has been kind of up and down. They've got guys like Rantanen who don't like that idea too much, but it seems like he's starting to buy in a little bit. And they've got a lot of other guys like Johnston, Robertson. They're really good two-way forwards. You're an analytics guy like me. You'll know Robertson is a fantastic defensive. This really feels like a shutdown spot for Dallas. I agree. Team total under there, and you're probably going to get a really good price. That would probably be the best bet here. I do think Dallas.
And they just played back-to-back overs too. They just had back-to-back 4-3 games. Maybe we finally go back to the Dallas that just had a 3-2, 3-2, 1-0, 2-1. We all know Dallas has talent, but at their true core, they're an under team, right?
Right. If Anaheim scores first, then I might lean more to the over in this game. But and Dallas has been having trouble with first periods as of late too. They have been having trouble scoring, but that's because I think that is because Gullickson is really pounding down the. Why has Dallas lost in the second round every year? It's been the breakdown of their defense. So why do you think they hired Gullickson? Because he is a defensive and analytic coach. And he is pounding it down. Look, you want to lose in the second round again? Defense has been killing you. We're playing defense. I love that team total under for Anaheim after that big game.
There we go.
We'll
go together on that one.
First period under and team total under. Yeah, I like it.
Under 1.5 first period. Ducks team total under 2.5. And the best part about this one, we could get a 5-2, a 4-2, 3-2, whatever it might be for the Stars. And I have hit a little bit of a rut with the NHL, but we're getting back on track. The best part about it, and Perlo, I know you're a high volume guy, but last year, I think I was up over 20 units at WagerTalk with NHL, and I want to do much better than that this year. But you know what my win percentage was? 51. But my average price was plus 100. Plus 100, plus 105. The team totals, right? Like, Duck, both of us could easily take Dallas minus 180 tomorrow. We both could do it. But if you lose, like, for example, yesterday, unfortunately, I didn't have the over in Florida and Anaheim. I wish I did, but I had the Florida team total over, right?
Yeah.
Most people laid minus 150, minus 160 on Florida. My number was plus 104. So when I lost, you just lose a unit. You're not losing 1.6 units or whatever it might be. That makes a difference. So, sure, if Dallas wins 5-3, you and I might be kind of kicking ourselves. But hopefully they play well defensively, and we don't have to worry about that.
Here's another good thing, too. Anaheim is playing Dallas and an out-of-division team, and then they're playing Vegas after that. So that is going to be the much bigger game for them. So yeah, I like everything about Dallas in this game, and I like everything about that under. For me, my sides and everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, my sides and everything have been okay. My best bets or my high picks for my sides and totals have been excellent. I should start doing what you're doing. My sides and totals just go low volume, but shot props, I am 20-4 in the last 4 days on shot props. So yeah.
Well done. Yeah. Keep those shot props going, and you get good prices on those as well. I've seen your bets that you give out there. Good prices on that.
Okay, I'll give you one for this game. Johnston over 2.5. If it's still 2.5, that'll be he's playing on the top line right now. He's shooting like crazy. Anaheim is not a very good shot suppression team, so this would be the perfect time. The only thing that would worry me is if Dallas runs away with it early and then they start coming back. But I like it. I like that one.
Yeah, that can be tough. Like I always look at that as well. Like sometimes you can make profitable bets on teams that might lose the game because they're going to have to shoot the puck. But at the same time, though, if Dallas blows them away, it's probably because they had a bunch of shots as well. So Johnston over 2.5. I like that. He's a shoot first guy. Let's be honest.
And I sent you that
against
Troy Terry one. It won't be as big of a bet here because we're not really liking Anaheim, but that guy's shooting the moon right now. And you're getting it like plus 115 or something like that. It's ridiculous.
He's super confident. That guy does not lack confidence. That's for sure. Shout out to Dusty. He's with us. He's going to be joining me on Friday, going over the Saturday board. So appreciate him. He does a ton of content as well. All right, we got to get out of here. 45 minutes already. Wow, time flies by when you're having fun. Philadelphia, Nashville, Tampa Bay, Vegas, Florida, LA. Really quick, any thoughts on those games? Any quick picks? Anything you want to mention on those?
I mean, what's that? How's that Nashville team doing it? I don't know. They just keep on. Now they got a terrible spot. Philadelphia's got a terrible spot coming off that big Montreal win. But a minus 110, I'll take Philly to keep it going. Nashville can't keep this up. Going to draws every single game. I'll take a little bit on the draw too. What was the other ones again?
You've got Tampa and Vegas, Florida, LA. And I think that when you look at Tampa right now, even though they're on the road, is this a team you're interested in that can spoil the party for Vegas? Vegas just came off one of the easiest 1-0 victories you're ever going to see in your life. They won a game 1-0, but you would have thought that they won that 5-0 if you watched the game. Hats off to Detroit's goaltending. And I'm not a real big Gibson guy either, but he played pretty well. But maybe Tampa's a live dog tomorrow night.
I think they are. I know one thing I do like is Tampa puck line first period. They've been winning first periods on the road a lot. Coming off that Colorado loss, I think they're going to be hustling in the first period. Vegas is playing kind of weird right now. I can't put my finger on it. I think they're sort of trying to coast a little bit. I do think they'll be up for this game, but first period, I think I'll take Tampa Bay puck line first period. They've just been playing well first periods on the road. Ooh. And then I'll go for a live bet after that. But I do think it's a Tampa spot.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay, they've been up and down on their road trip, but they're starting to play a lot better. All right, last thing that I'll say as far as picks are concerned, I like goals tomorrow night when it comes to the LA Kings and Florida Panthers game. You're going to give me a 5.5 in that one. Florida just gave up 7 goals. And yeah, sure, we can make the argument they're going to want to play better defensively. When it comes down to it, they're going to be angry. They're going to bring the offense. And LA's offense has looked okay lately, but they play much better at home so far this season. They've looked a little bit better. So over 5.5, I can't see Florida be like, oh, we got our asses kicked against Anaheim. We want to play better defensively. I don't think you can do that. LA is going to bring them to the fight. And I think this is going to be 1-4, 1-5 wins. And we're getting a 5.5 here. This is the late night special. Give me the over in this one. I think a pissed off Florida team might mean a high scoring Florida team.
Yeah, Florida's having difficult figuring out almost like what Carberry said about his team. It's time for them to find their identity here without Tkachuk and Barkov. And I don't think right now trying to find that identity on the road against this LA team is going to be, we're going to go shut them down. I don't think they have a choice right now. They got to try to outscore the other team. They got to get their goal scoring going. So yeah, I like the over, a little bit of the over first period there too. I think Florida is going to come out angry, like you said, and LA will keep pace. I don't like LA's defense either.
No, me either. No.
I don't understand the moves that they made. Goaltending really has been up and down for them as well. They just shut out the Jets, right? They just shut out the Jets. So I could see them coming in thinking that they're going to do something similar to that to Florida and make a big mistake. I might be.
And that was a bad spot for the Jets too, I would say. So you know what? You're right.
Yeah,
they might be a little bit too confident coming into this one. You're right.
Yeah, I think I might be making a case for a Florida first period here. I think LA sees that Florida, sees what happened to Florida and Anaheim, and they could be coming in a little too confident. Although it is the Stanley Cup champions, but if you're going to play the Stanley Cup champions, are you going to go out and say, okay, let's shut down the Stanley Cup champions? Probably not. You're playing the Stanley Cup champions. You're going to say, let's go kick these guys' butt. So I think pace is here. Over 5.5 is a really good bet here. And I'm going to put a little bit on I like the draw here too. Florida would be happy to get a point out of this road trip. They got San Jose next. They would be happy to get a point. And I think when it comes right down to it, LA would be happy to take the point too. They're both from different conferences. I could see it being a tight battle, but a high scoring battle. Maybe I'm talking myself into a 3-3 correct score and somebody wins.
I like that. Well, put it this way. Most of the time I've talked about teams. We just talked about it, some of the games earlier today. Teams, off a bad defensive performance that might want to look towards an under. But I think Panthers are going to come out hot. They're going to come out on fire, motivated, pep in their step. And the total is only 5.5. So we always say a 5.5 total is 5.5 for a reason. And we have to understand that. But with the situation here, we'll definitely take a look at the over. Good player prop game. I'll take a look at some player props overnight. Is there a shots on goal or a point guy you'd look at for either of these teams?
For the LA, for LA, I mean, if Florida's going to come out hot, I think you got to be looking at Reinhart to get over his shots, and you're getting him at 2.5. It's time for that guy to get moving. I mean, if I'm Paul Maurice here, I'm saying, look, you don't have Barkey anymore. You don't have it. You don't have him to rely on anymore. I need you going in there and just shooting. We just need to shoot. LA doesn't have the best goaltender in the world. We need to get as many shots as possible, I would take that. If they're going to finally give it to us, Rodriguez over shots up on that top line. The thing is that they haven't been giving us it. As soon as they
it's weird.
As soon as they do give it to us. Oh, talking about that go back to Philly game too. Brink over shots. That's another one I'm waiting on. As soon as they give you shots, they got him on the top line there. He is going to go way over his shot. So hopefully we get it tomorrow. And if we do, I just gave you my best bet. Brink over 1.5.
He's looking good. This guy, he looked good against my Canadiens. I didn't like to see it, but he looked really, really good. So, man, we're ready to go. You and I are locked in here. We got a lot of picks that we like. It's a solid board. We got the Capitals, of course, taking on the Penguins. A great rivalry, Crosby and Ovechkin. My Habs and the Devils, Minnesota, Carolina, Ottawa, Boston, Philly, and Nashville, Tampa. We got so many great games. I'll tell you what, that Anaheim team total under, I keep going back to that one. That's the one I'm going to remember for me and you together to hit that one. Let's get a good effort out of Dallas. Any closing thoughts on tomorrow's board? Anything you want to mention before we head out?
No, but it's funny. You and I are similar in the same way that we like to find the spots that nobody else did. Let's face it. We like to do it. It gets us in trouble sometimes, but we have the same personality that way. That's why I always like you use the word contrarian. I have the same personality as that. I think that's the reason why I'm a shot prop guy. Because everybody told me shot props are no good. They take them away, all of those sort of things like that. And I didn't get a chance to get into it. But one of the biggest advantages I have found in shot props is nobody plays them. Yep. So you get really good prices. And yeah, you're going to get burnt every once in a while because they take one away. But nobody plays them. So I like that. But it's going to be a fun card tomorrow. I think we're going to do excellent, and I'm with you. I'm going to tell everybody on my Twitter, Anaheim team total under. Everybody's going to think we're crazy, and we're going to nail it.
I love it. I love it. Well, you're live all the time on YouTube. You got a new venture you're starting up. They can follow you on your X as well. Thank you very much, man, for joining me. Appreciate it. We'll have you on again sometime. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man. It was awesome being on with you, man. You're the greatest.
You're the best, man. Thank you. Take care. All right, guys. Really, really appreciate Perlo for joining us. He knows his stuff. He makes money with the sides, with the totals, but especially those player props as well. Make sure you follow him on X at Perlo's NHL POW. Make sure you guys cash those tickets. It's me. It was looking really, really good, except for Dylan Strome didn't show up. So that was the one problem with that same gamer tonight. So, guys, thank you very much for joining me. WagerTalk TV. Make sure you subscribe to WagerTalk TV, hit that bell, and cash some tickets. And also at McInnis Picks. You can follow me, of course, get all my plays at wt.buzz/am. All of my best bets are found there. If you're watching on YouTube, show some love. And also make sure you comment below your goal scorer, your best bet for the goal scorer for Thursday night. Cheers, guys. All the best. We'll see you next time.